Hi everyone. So I think we'll make a start. My name is Sarah Rees and I'm a customer success manager with Nosto. For those of you who don't know us, we're a personalization solution and we specialize in e-commerce. So we enable retailers to tailor their customers' experiences for every single person at every touch point on every device. So firstly, a quick thank you for joining me today to discuss one of the biggest phenomenons in e-commerce, Black Friday, of course. As of today, we have 23 days left still to prepare, but the point of this webinar isn't to panic you into battening down the hatches in preparation for the Black Friday weekend. Today, we're here to discuss how you as retailers can capitalize on the increased traffic that Black Friday weekend brings and make the most of your customers' increased propensities to buy without sacrificing your margin. So there are lots of hints and tips out there. I'm sure you've been reading them in preparation, and we could talk strategy for hours, but as I'm sure you'll be glad to hear, I'm only going to take around half an hour of your time today to focus on strategies which will increase product discoverability and profitability. These slides will be sent out after the webinar via email, so don't worry too much about taking notes. And without further ado, I guess let's get into the tactics. So according to the e-commerce benchmark KPI study, increasing conversion by 10% can be achieved by something as simple as keeping a customer on your site for an extra 35 seconds. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it does have an impact. Now, that's not to say that time is the only metric you should be paying attention to. If you're seeing a high bounce rate accompanying these longer session times, the chances are that customers are trying their best, but perhaps struggling to find products that they want to fall in love with. So what can we do about that? So this first one might sound obvious, but make sure that you're shouting about your discounts, particularly over this weekend. Competition over Black Friday weekend is fierce, as I'm sure you all know, and customers will expect to see discounts when they arrive on the site. According to a Monetate study, bounce rates on Black Friday increased by around 7%. So clearly denoting your promotions could be the difference between someone staying on your site and taking a look at your products or heading over to a competitor's. In terms of effort, this is fairly easy to do. And you'll notice that we have an effort, a cost, and a Nosto actionable scale at the bottom, which you can read after this presentation. So the effort and cost of this particular tactic, so showing your trending product, it varies on how thorough you want to be. For example, it's easy to get sidetracked by reskinning your entire homepage to focus on Black Friday, but it's worth bearing in mind that it's not the only place that customers will land. Add Black Friday messaging to category pages, product pages, and any specific landing pages that you've put together for the weekend. And this will encourage customer engagement and decrease bounce rates. Now, on Black Friday weekend, more than any other weekend of the year, your aim should be to guide customers to make a purchase in as few clicks as possible. One of the key ways to do this is by using trending or best-selling products to create a sense of FOMO, or a fear of missing out. Whether, like Campus Protein, you have a page dedicated to trending products that your customers can go and check out at any time, or like Soho Girl, you use a live feed recommendation. Both strategies create a feeling of, wow, other people are buying from this store right now, I need to join them before everything sells out, particularly over Black Friday weekend. This is a great strategy to put in place. It creates a sense of urgency among customers and is a great method of social proofing too. So you can see what other people are doing on the website at the exact same time. And it's relatively easily done. So our next few steps are focused on stepping up your recommendation game throughout the website. If you have a customer who's returning to your site, you can of course use trending products and bestsellers to show some social proof and show your trending products. But if you know about that customer already and they have a history of preference for a particular brand or category or product, put this behavioral data to good use by personalizing the recommendations that they see. According to a Salesforce study, sales via relevant product recommendations equate to around 24% of on-site revenue. So if you can capitalize on this and make these recommendations truly relevant on a one-to-one basis for every customer, you only stand to gain. Personalization is relatively simple using tools like Nosto, and depending on the underpinning algorithms used, personalized recommendations can enable an increase in catalog exploration and can save you time if you're currently manually merchandising cross-sells and upsells. So the homepage is an obvious great place to start when you're talking about personalized recommendations. But there are several areas of the site that can benefit from pointing people in the right direction. The search bar of your site will be a well-used piece of real estate on Black Friday in particular, as customers may be looking for a specific product and comparing prices across several retailers. So with such a competitive environment in mind, with the Black Friday weekend, price at this point may be slightly out of your hands when it comes to you as a retailer. Either you'll be more expensive or you'll be less expensive. The one thing you are able to control is the experience that your customer will have on your site that will set you apart. Search-based recommendations like the one featured here use keywords and crowd logic to help customers find products as quickly as possible. And when you're trying to get customers through to a product page, and I guess end goal being conversion in as few quick clicks as possible, this is particularly powerful. You can also go one step further and foolproof your search bar using technologies like Clayvu and Algolia, who use natural language processing to overlook spelling mistakes and further enhance your customers' experiences. The key takeaways here include quicker product discovery time and a better experience for time-critical customers. So this applies all year round, but more specifically around Black Friday. So once a customer has landed on a product page, whether they've landed there directly or they've been through your homepage or category pages, they have expressed a strong buying indication for, in this case, a pair of trousers. There are a few different ways to use product recommendations here, but perhaps the simplest way is to ensure that if they get cold feet, and in this case decide that they don't like red stripes, you know that you can direct them through to a direct alternative to the item they're looking at. This particular recommendation is showing alternatives from within the same category, so alternative trousers. But you could also make use of a complete the look type recommendation and perhaps show items that are commonly bought with this particular pair of trousers from within other categories. So perhaps showing t-shirts and shoes, kind of wherever you want to let your site experience go. Now, by increasing the likelihood that your customer will find the product that fits their needs, you'll be increasing conversion rates, reducing the likelihood of returns, and if you choose to automate the cross-sells with personalization or another tool, you'll save some time as well. Now, on websites as a whole, and particularly on Black Friday, we want to believe that everything will go completely according to plan and will run smoothly. But occasionally, an out-of-stock product or a dead link can lead customers to the dreaded 404 page. If a customer loses their way, a simple tip to help them get back on track is to use best-selling items. Alternatively, use recommendations like Nosto's browsing history related algorithm. Now, this algorithm type shows customers brand new items they haven't found yet on the site, but it's based on their behavioral preferences. So if someone has already expressed an interest in trousers for the previous example, then you can show them products that they haven't discovered yet that are brand new and will likely get them excited and encourage them to carry on looking through your site. This is a great way to restore faith in your brand and your site as a whole after a blip in the process, particularly if copy on your 404 page is customer service focused as well. And yeah, we can't find any cons of this. It's a nice page that's often forgotten about, but I think just perking it up that little bit can really enhance user experience. So recommendations and Black Friday banners are great places to start. And if you have the time and the resources, why not take your site experience to the next level by dynamically manipulating content on your site to reflect a customer's brand preferences? Now, this can seem a little bit daunting initially when trying to plan where to start with strategic content, but the end results definitely make it worthwhile. In terms of user experience and brand loyalty in particular, if you decide content personalization is the way forward for you and you're looking for a place to start, then I'd suggest that's where we start looking at profitability and working out what's best strategically for you as well as your customers. So with 47% of online shoppers searching for discount codes online over the Black Friday weekend, we're going to talk through a few tactics which give you as a retailer the power to manipulate discounts to your advantage and also reduce return rates. So when it comes to recommendations and static content blocks, you can opt for products with higher margins over items you know have a high return rate. Study your analytics tools before the big day and work out your top 3 most profitable brands or categories and perhaps choose to favor them when creating campaigns. For categories you know that have high return rates or are particularly prone to returns, you can filter these out of recommendations and strategically expose your customers to beneficial areas of your product catalog. With each save return being worth around €15 on average, it's definitely worth identifying troublesome categories early. Do bear in mind that heavily restricting a customer's access to your full product catalogue can negatively impact conversion, which is why we suggest looking at a top 3 and a bottom 3. And when trying to strike a balance between increasing conversion and maintaining margin, it's great to have some sort of AI on side so that you can kind of get a sense of the data and what should work best for you. So this same logic of favoring brands can be applied to dynamic content campaigns. So in the case of Nosto client Toolstop, they've identified 2 key brands for them, DeWalt and Makita. And once a customer shows a particular affinity for one of these brands, their experience on site alters to encourage further product exploration or recommend complementary items to existing customers. So right now you're looking at different home pages which have been changed, but this is happening throughout the site. So with many of the same benefits already mentioned, keep in mind that complex content personalization strategies can be costly, both in terms of creating the content themselves and budget-wise. So make sure that you have a clear plan in mind when undertaking these projects and a key idea of the brands that you want to favor. There are plenty of providers out there who can offer further advice on this and work strategically with you to plan the best approach for your site. So if you are in any doubt, do reach out to various providers. So for sites who have slightly less clearly defined brand affinities, you can use your knowledge of the market to create brand ladders. In this instance, we're recommending alternative brands which are popular among a specific segment of customers. So there's a few different ways of doing this. This can be brand focused, it can be category focused. It entirely depends on what you feel is right for your website. Brand ladders have the dual effect of introducing customers to more of your catalogue on site while ensuring that you are seen as a go-to thought leader among your competition. So this can help to inspire loyalty for your wider brand as a site. Now, when I hear the word content, I often immediately think of lifestyle imagery on a homepage or a blog post, for example. And although these are both extremely effective resources, more and more retailers are beginning to harness the power of user-generated content. So this is a fantastic resource for a number of reasons. By giving customers an idea of what your products look like in real life, Instagram filters aside, of course, you can actually reduce the likelihood of returns while at the same time perhaps encouraging brand awareness by people sharing items with your branding all over it. And it can create a sense of family among your customers as well. There you go. By setting more realistic expectations for your products, you encourage first-time visitors to the site to make their first purchase much easier and encourage existing customers to perhaps try something new. If you have lots of UGC available, handpicking this content manually can be quite time-consuming and can seem a little daunting at first. However, there are some great tools available out there, like the likes of 460 and Yotpo, which automate this process. An added benefit of Yotpo being ratings and reviews are also gathered, which is another great way to kind of crowdsource faith in your brand, if you will. So once you've finally got your plucky Black Friday customers through to make their first purchase, make sure their checkout process is as simple as possible. So you could use store cards or payment services such as Klarna to enable customers to break larger purchases down into more manageable chunks. This is a great tactic for retailers with higher value products, sort of furniture and that sort of thing. And it also might remove a barrier for customers who have slightly misjudged the time between Black Friday weekend and their payday. It all happens. So that's my final tip. So hopefully you'll agree with me by now that Black Friday weekend is a time of opportunity, and you'll leave here today with a few ideas for how you can make the most of it. If you want to discuss more tactics and you're an existing Nosto customer, please feel free to reach out to me at my email address, which is on the screen now. If you're new to Nosto and you want to learn more, you're also very welcome to drop me an email, or you can find out some more information on our website. Kind of run a little bit quickly, so we have a few minutes for questions, so feel free to write in the chat now if you'd like to ask me anything. Cool, so had a question through saying, what products or modules have Nosto clients benefited from in the past, in previous sort of Black Friday holiday sale periods? So one that I've seen work particularly well, which we actually haven't had a chance to discuss, has been the pop-up. So again, enforcing that idea that people will expect to see a discount when they land on the page. Some people have had a custom pop-up design for them that actually includes a countdown. So it's again enforcing that sense of urgency while offering a discount code. Is a great way to kind of double up on a couple of different tactics. I can see a couple of people are writing, so I will wait with bated breath to see what questions come through. So what happens if you hit a 404 page without browsing history? So from a Nosto perspective, what I would recommend doing there would be to have a twofold recommendation that would include a fallback. So if we know that customer, we'll show them, I think the browsing history related recommendation works quite well. So that's the one that looks at what a customer has viewed in the past and shows them brand new products. Obviously, if they are brand new to the site and we don't know them at all, I would then have that recommendation block fall back to bestsellers and trending products. So kind of looping back around to the benefits we were talking about earlier. Another one that's come through asking about email. So would you recommend using an email campaign with browsing related products to advise customers on what they've viewed and what's potentially on sale? Yes, I would definitely recommend bringing in email to your Black Friday campaigns. I think email is not dead. It's Halloween. I had to sneak a pun in there somewhere. So my strategy with email campaigns would probably be to send out if you have the ability to segment out your email audience and you know that you have a particular list of customers who are interested in a particular category that you're planning to put on sale, I would perhaps send out a recommendation within an email to them around a week before Black Friday to kind of let them know. And I guess if you're using segmentation as well, then there may be a way that you can actually trigger a specific pop-up to them or change a landing experience specifically for them if they have an affinity for that brand. When it comes to kind of recommendations in emails themselves, then I think it's quite nice to have something that's familiar. So you could either have, like a browsing history based pop-up or some new items as well.